Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Wasteland Wrap. We're here once again. I'm Jacob Holmes, here with Val Morreale to talk to you about all the latest news for the week. Been a bit of a slow news week, Val, but there was one thing that I was very excited about. I don't know if this was the topic you're most excited about or not, but Leica finally gave us a full teaser trailer for Wildwood. And I thought it was like the best trailer of the year so far. Did you get a chance to check it out? What did you think?
I did. I'm happy you put this on my radar because I had heard about Wildwood. I had missed the fact that the trailer dropped, and God, this is an amazing trailer. I mean, it kind of just shows that they're really sort of stretching with whatever with every new movie. They're kind of doing more and more insane things with stop motion. This looks really, really good. I had like full body chills watching this trailer. It is just so beautiful. It looks like it's gonna be a really impactful story. I loved Kubo and the Two Strings. I loved Coraline. This is gonna be great. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, talking about how beautiful it is, I do have some screen grabs, and it was so hard not to just like screen grab the whole trailer because there's like every frame of this thing is a work of art. But I got it down to 12, so here we go. Um, So this is the little brother who is going to be kind of like seemingly like the plot device, which a few screen grabs later
Mhm.
will show why. Um, so this is like the little brother of the main character, and then we've got this is just I mean the cherry blossom trees, and unfortunately the way that we've got the show set up, these images are in 16 by 9 frame. So this is actually like a lot wider in the trailer, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Um, Here we have a close up on an unknown figure, a child who's seemingly crying a black tear, very kind of creepy, more in the Coraline zone compared to the rest of the trailer. And here we have the little brother being taken away off of a playground by some crows, which I understand is like the inciting incident of this movie. Basically, the main character, his older sister, I don't have the names of the characters pulled up, and it's not said in the trailer. Um, but basically, she goes out with him, and he gets taken away by these crows, and she has to go into the woods to go and try and find him and get him back. This is just I just paused this here. There's a lot of like fairy tale type animal soldiers and stuff in this trailer, and that is just amazing
They look
um
incredible. I mean,
work
just
right
even
there. I
just
mean,
this
that
screen
is
cap, you're like, look at the design of this creature. It's awesome.
absolutely beautiful. This wolf in this regalia. Another whimsical picture. This is the main character apparently going through this door into a grand foyer where there's a bear, and you can see like there's a beaver there, and then we're gonna get another clip from the other side where there's like a small poodle type dog. Finally, our first look at our main character in these screen grabs, entering this whimsical world. I guess this is her friend. I wasn't quite clear on this, but it's like a boy her age, and he seems to be along for this journey. And here he is somehow, for whatever reason, in the soldier outfit, and there's some birds flying in the background behind him. I screen grabbed this just because of the. I mean, that is insane. The
Yeah.
like abrasions on her knuckles. It's just wild level of detail that's so beautiful in stop motion. Um,
Mhm.
and I also highlighted this character because I don't know anything about this character, but I just already love him. He looks so epic. He's got a
Hell
horse.
yeah.
I love it. And then here's the last. Here's a picture of our main character here with her little brother that she's gonna rescue. And then finally, I highlighted this because in the age of our AI anxiety, this was such a banger from
Mhm.
the hands that created Coraline. Just a cool way to go. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. You don't get a lot of sense of the story from the trailer. It is still just a teaser. Um, However, and now this is adapted, so the story's out there somewhere, or
Mhm.
something along the lines of the story. Have you read the story, or do you know anything about the story?
I don't. It made me kind of want to go check it out though, honestly. I might try to find a copy of the book, maybe at my local library before this comes out. So I'm sure that like, hundreds of people have had the same idea. So I might be on a wait list. But it did kind of remind me in the same like dark fairy tale vein as like Coraline, perhaps not maybe so dark. It actually reminded me a lot of other Neil Gaiman movie, which is not animated, called Stardust, which sort of is that high fantasy, but does have pretty dark themes. It kind of reminded me of that overall vibe. So I will be interested to potentially check it out before the movie drops.
Yeah, so, I gotta kind of, I don't know if this is correct, but I get this feeling from the trailer, so the boy is taken by these crows and it's intercut with these, it looks like, this is like interesting because this is, I mean, theoretically, it's a children's movie or a family movie.
Mhm.
Um, the boy that's crying the black tear, it looks heavily like he's committing suicide. And
Yeah.
in in that trailer, he's like on a ledge. Um, and his mother is like running out after him. It's probably not going to be a straightforward suicide. There's probably going to be something more to it, but it seems to me like the basis of the story is he is somehow lost, and the mother is like somehow turns the woods around their house into this fairy tale, strange fairy tale place, and that the crows probably kidnapped the little brother to replace that boy. But I'm
Mm.
just totally guessing based on this teaser. And then obviously the sister goes in to try and rescue him. And I'm sure if that is the story, that there will be some kind of, the villain having to kind of reconcile with the fact that this is not the way to go about things, or yada yada yada. I don't know, but it looks like very much like a dark fairy tale, and I was excited because it doesn't look like Coraline. So I haven't actually seen Coraline, to be fair, but
You should watch
Coraline,
it. It's really good.
and to some extent the Box Trolls and Paranorman. I haven't seen it. I've seen a little bit of Box Trolls. Those all fall into more of a Tim Burton flair in my mind. That's what I They kind of seem more of like Tim Burton style creepy fantasy, whereas this looks more like a Kubo epic fantasy that's got darkness in it, but not like, I mean, Coraline has like button eyes, and there's the um and Paranorman is dead things and stuff. So it's a little more, this is a different kind of uh playground for Leica a little bit. And I think this is a strong suit. And the stop motion, you can't say enough about it. I mean, the level of detail, and this has been in the works for like years. Um but well worth it. I mean, this is just, you can't go wrong. I mean, this stop motion alone is going to be so visually stunning. If the story falls flat, it will just be a shame that it doesn't support the visuals. But the visuals are clearly there.
Yeah, I mean, but with other Leica Studios productions, at least, I mean, particularly Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, and Kubo and the Two Strings kind of went under everyone's radar despite being fantastic. Um, they both had really strong stories, so I'm sort of maybe incorrectly expecting that this story is going to be really strong as well, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, I think the story will be strong, and I think if that story is as strong as we expect it to be, this is probably going to be Leica's. I think this is going to be Leica's opus. Um,
Mm.
I think even I think Kubo is really great. I need to rewatch Kubo. Um, Coraline has kind of been their centerpiece for over a decade, but I think this is going to be the new benchmark, and Leica is going to be. I think this has a very good shot at a best animated feature, especially considering the way the Academy has been voting in animated. Um, it's going to be an insane. Last year's animated feature race, coming from the pole position angle here for a second. Last year's animated feature race was really bad. It was just really frustratingly, um, because this was supposed to come out last year. Um, and so
Mm.
was
It was delayed.
Ray Gunn at one point. So Now we get this in Ray Gun this year, plus Toy Story 5. Hoppers in any other year would be like slotted in, but I don't know if Hoppers is going to make it in because DreamWorks has Forgotten Island, which is apparently great. We've got some
Mhm.
Can stuff going on, and we're about to get into Can, but there was an animated film there called Tangles that's like about someone's mother going through Alzheimer's. So it's not a kid
Okay.
movie at all, and it's black and white animation. It's got like Bryan Cranston and Julia Louis-Dreyfus in
Oh,
the
wow.
voice cast, and it's apparently very good. Um, so that could be. There's also an animated film premiering there called In Waves. I don't think that's premiered yet. It might be premiering today. I haven't kept track with that, but so there's a lot of animated stuff coming out this year. But I would be if the story is as strong as this animation. This is like how could it not win?
Yeah.
Um, it's just too, you know, it's not like Shaun the Sheep where no matter how good Shaun the Sheep will be, you'll ultimately be like, this is still a story about sheep. This is a story about people, and
Mm.
it has real, gravitas from the trailer. Um, that's gonna go a long way. So yeah, Wildwood is at like the top of my list of anticipated movies right now. Maybe, I
Yeah,
mean,
and
top five.
it's almost a shame. Like, I think it's a good thing in many ways that we have an animation category, but in some ways it isn't because movies like this can't get nominated for Best Picture. Like, they're always gonna be slotted into animated, and I don't know, I feel
Yeah,
like some animated films like this, like Kubo, can hold up against live action. I think it's just a lot of people
I,
still have that perspective that it's only for kids.
well, yeah, I'm not sure that the animated category is the problem there. I think there's a mindset problem more so
Yeah.
that we have to
Yeah, it's
overcome.
not just it's complicated.
And then there's just the fact like this is a pretty stacked year. It's looking like a stacked year for Best Picture. Some of the
Yeah.
we're about to talk about some of these cans reactions kind of came out a little lukewarm. So if enough spots open up, this is the kind of movie I could see pulling it up and getting into the Best
Mhm.
Picture nominees. It's an animated movie to win Best Picture. It's probably never going to happen. And if it did, it would have to be a great animated movie in a really bad year for live action, or just a complete cultural shift in the way we think
Mm.
about animated movies, which I would love. Moving on to our next topic, the Cannes Film Festival has begun, and I think the one that we were most looking forward to in these couple of opening days of the ceremony was Jane Schoenbrun's Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. It's not in the official competition. Val, you're a fan of I Saw the TV Glow, yes?
I am. Yes. I watched that. I tell my friends in like the most perfect setting, which was like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night on an airplane, which is like honestly the perfect way to watch that movie in kind of a half asleep daze in the middle of the night. It's a really excellent film.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of I Saw the TV Glow or
Oh,
her
interesting.
debut film. We're all headed to the World's Fair. Um, how
I did not like We're All Headed to the World's Fair, I will say. It just didn't work
and
for me.
it's but I respect them. Like it's like Sean Brun for me is very much like David Lynch. I also don't like Mulholland
Mm,
Drive.
that's
Like
a good comparison.
I understand the respect, but I just can't. They're not clicking for me. But I have seen some of these reviews from people who didn't like I Saw the TV Glow, did like Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. So I have some hope there for that. We're going to switch over to the scroller. This is the Metacritic page for Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. As you can see, very good reviews so far. It's at 16 critic reviews,
Mhm.
an average score of 88 on Metacritic, which is very, very high. Um, I actually looked at the letterboxed for their past two movies, and they but despite the level of acclaim, I'm gonna switch back to the main page because now I'm getting off track. Despite the acclaim on like I saw the TV Glow from some people who are like very 5-star heavy. Um,
Mhm.
neither of the movies they both have. I think I saw the TV Glow has a 3.5 average on Letterboxd. World's Fair has 3.1 because they're not super accessible, right? There's people like me who
Mhm.
whether they have something against the film or not, they just don't. they can't click, so they don't give it a great review. I think this is going to be higher on Letterboxd and maybe higher
Mhm.
on Metacritic because it's just going to hit more people. I'm going to read a couple of quick reviews from the Metacritic. Scrolling down, here's a 100 from Allison Wilmore at New York Magazine, which is apparently part of Vulture. There's a vulnerability to being touched by something, to finding something sexy or scary, and teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma is filled with a wry but immense compassion for its heroine and her habit of holding up concepts to ward off her own reactions. Um, Without seeing the movie, it's hard to really parse that, but here's another 100 from Zachary Lee from The Wrap, not to be confused with the Wasteland Wrap. This is magazine. Um, what happens to these spaces when we feel comfortable in our bodies again? Does resurrection always have to require a type of death first? Is there ever a point in our lives where it's too late to transform? That the film manages to make room for these ideals while lacing it all with enough tacky genre thrills to make it all palatable and thought provoking is a miraculous feat in its own right. Let's go down to the bottom of the list just to see. Here's a 70 review by Stephanie Zacharek at Time. Teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma sometimes gets tangled up in the rigging of its ideas, and the film blows off course more than once on its way to the ending. But its joyousness, tethered to its deep affection for movies that plenty of people would just call junk, is its guiding spirit. Um, I take those reviews pretty well. I think
Mhm.
that one of the things you can't say about any Schoenberg movie, whether you connect to it or not, is it's swinging for the fences. It's trying to do something very impactful. And for some people,
Yeah.
it hits, and some people it misses. But for the people it hits, and that's what Sean Byrne is going for. What I'm
Yeah.
excited about from these reviews is I saw the TV Glow is very monotonous and very mundane in terms of the way like Justice
Mhm.
Smith speaks, which is one of the things that couldn't help me get in a rhythm. This sounds like it is
Mhm.
not like that. That is much more joyous. Some people are saying this is like Scream by way of Jane Schoenbrunn.
That was the
um,
vibe I got from the reviews I read.
yeah. So what are you thinking based on the reviews? Does it kind of resolve your excitement for this movie? Does it up it? Does it? Yeah,
It
how are you
ups my
feeling?
excitement. I wanted to share the review from Time Out, by Sophie Monks Kaufman. Just a quote. She says, "Teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma is a meta horror commentary and a whip smart entertainment industry satire. Still on a deeper level, in a hole at the bottom of its lake is a hard-won sexual awakening." And that sounds really, really fun to me. Like a horror comedy, satire, but still has this kind of like core heart to its story. Like that just sounds great. Like it sounds like everything that is sort of maybe hinted at in I Saw the TV Glow, but not really explored explicitly. Like there's a lot that's just kind of left to how do I say that? It, like left up to like I guess your own interpretation of whether or not like Justice Smith's character is trans, for example. Like that's kind of a reading that a lot of people took away from I Saw the TV Glow. But it seems like this is more just going to be like an explicit maybe love story at the core of this um horror comedy satire, and that sounds awesome. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm more
I'm
excited after reading the reviews.
I'm really excited too because from the trailer, when I say I don't like this, I saw the TV Glow. I have to say that there's a lot of great stuff in I saw the TV Glow, like the visual
Mhm.
effects and their sensibility of, in the trailer to Camp Miasma, there's this VHS being inserted into this weird gloopy mouth thing, and then there's like a stabbing with a big fountain of blood, like very obviously like fake blood coming out. I don't know if that's part of the reality or part of the cheesy movie, meta movie. Who knows? But Schunbrun's got a very interesting style when it comes to that, and to see that employed in more of a fun, campy horror genre trapping than I saw the TV Glow, I'm pretty excited for that. Another film that we've gotten reviews for is Fatherland, which is one
Mhm.
of the top contenders people were expecting to maybe make a best picture run, and that's a 100 reviews. That's a good start. It's actually got better critic reviews based on 12 reviews. It's an average of 92. However, it's hard to explain this, but they feel kind of lukewarm. I'm going to read just a couple real quick. On 100, minor quibbles aside, Pawlikowski has delivered a gorgeous poem of a film, mournful meditation on national identity, private and public tragedy, the dangers of trying to remain apolitical in deeply political times, and the enduring cultural riches that can offer small but crucial solace in apocalyptic times. Um, on the opposite end of the spectrum, by Nicholas Bell from Ion Cinema, there's little by way of excitement. Pawlikowski adeptly conjures a world reviving from paralysis, but the family at its center isn't able to redefine themselves like a phoenix from the ashes, their past, despite the privilege of being on the right side of history as good Germans whose hands are clean, still nipping at their heels like a curse they will never exorcise. Um, it sounds kind of interesting to me, but it also sounds like it just might be a little bit slow and boring. Even though the movie's only 80 minutes long. Um, but beyond the Metacritic reviews, the letterbox curve for this is not coming out super strong.
Mhm.
This feels like one of those artsy things that critics are going to enjoy from Cannes, but that's not going to really go the distance. Was that the vibe that you got?
Yeah, yeah, that's about what I heard. It seemed kind of like this was sort of divisive, that the people who liked it's like you're saying. The what I read, it seemed like it was kind of middling, like people would like this but not love it, and that it wouldn't really go the distance in terms of like best picture or anything like that.
Yeah, I think we can kind of slot it into international film for now and not really expect much more out of it. I'm still interested to kind of
Mhm.
see it. I mean, it's kind of an interesting concept to me, but
Yeah.
um, I'm a little more political than most. Um, All of a Sudden by Ryosuke Hamaguchi is the reviews have just started coming out here in the past couple of hours. There's a lot of really strong reviews for it, but I'm also not getting like overwhelming flood of strong reviews. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
that definitely think it's a little too slow, a little too boring, maybe not as good as Drive My Car. And I think it's going to be hard for an international 3-hour film to get in if it's not better than Drive My Car. I think Drive My Car got
Mm.
in because it was a pretty wide open year that year. Um, I mean, it can be a classic for some people like who, love this kind of cinema. I'm excited to see it. I did enjoy Drive My Car a lot when I saw it. It's been a while, and it's hard to rewatch a movie that's 3.5 hours long. But are you still? What do you think about these reviews so far? For all of a sudden,
The ones I've read seem very positive. I agree with what you're saying from a practical point of view of like, yeah, this is a 3-hour movie. It seems like it's mostly in French. Um, yeah, that is going to be a hard sell for the Academy in an already packed year. That being said, I mean, maybe it's just a personal subjective thing. I love Drive My Car. I think it was by far the best film that came out that year, and it was sort of robbed by Coda with the Best Picture win. Um, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see until it comes out. But the initial strong reviews, I actually Variety commented on its pacing, saying that it doesn't feel long when you're watching it. But that is just a Variety reviewer, getting their names, Jessica Kyung's point of view. So, I mean, there's definitely probably going to be mixed views on that because it is like a 3-hour long movie. But I am optimistic. I'm really excited to see it. I would love to see it make Best Picture, but I agree that it is a stacked year. So we'll see.
one quick shout. Club Kid, I think is the name of this uh random. I had was not even on my radar going into Cannes, but I just was on Letterboxd
Oh,
with some of my critics that I follow that are at Cannes, and it started showing up, and lots of really good reviews for Club Kid,
I don't
which
know
is not in
anything about this movie.
not in competition. Well, let me just tell you, I don't know much about it either, but David Ehrlich of IndieWire gave it a 3.5, which is not bad from David Ehrlich.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sorry, no, that's All of a Sudden. Hold on, let me click. Where's his Club Kid review? Let me get over to Club Kid. David Ehrlich gave it 4 stars for Club Kid, 3.5 to All of a Sudden. Um, he said this had been described to me as what if A24 made a gay Big Daddy. And well, yeah, exactly. Turns out that'd be a pretty great combination of things to be in the right hands. So if A24 made a gay Big Daddy, have you seen Big Daddy with Adam
I
Sandler
have
and
not.
Dylan Nicole Sprouse? Basically, it's like a gay
Oh, it's like
clubber finds out he
kid and
has a
adult
10-year-old
hijinks
son.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So this is apparently a gay nightclub goer finds out he has a 10-year-old son and has to grow up quickly, and apparently wears its corny on its sleeve, but it's very like, I mean, it's got really good reviews. Um, it's a directorial
Hmm.
debut. Um, I don't know, all the reviews coming out are great. So put Club Kid on your radar now. It's apparently very good.
All right.
Um, Moving on to Batman 2 quickly as we got to get our show
Woohoo!
wrapped up a little bit earlier today. Let's see. Here we are. We're
I've
gonna
got
go
the
ahead and
list.
read straight from the Screenage Wasteland article from Duke. Thank you, Duke. So yeah, the Batman Part 2 main cast confirmed by Matt Reeves, including 4 MCU stars. Thank you for that addendum, Duke. In the last 2 days, DC fans watched as Reeves released 2 strings of GIF-heavy casting confirmations on X. Announced the following stars. Of course, Robert Pattinson is back as Batman. Jeffrey Wright is back as Jim Gordon. Andy Serkis is as Alfred. Colin Farrell is back as the Penguin. Jamie Lawson as Mayor Bella Real, and Gil Perez Abraham as Gotham Officer Martinez. Yesterday, he confirmed a few casting reports for the Batman Part 2 and made a few surprise announcements. He confirmed Sebastian Stan, Scarlett Johansson, and Charles Dance had joined the cast. He did not disclose their roles, but there's a lot of belief that they're playing Harvey Dent, Gilda Dent, and Charles Dent, respectively. Apparently, also Sebastian Koch and Brian Tyree Henry are also going to be joining in undisclosed
Hmm.
roles. I think the biggest takeaway is just the ironclad confirmation of Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan. Especially
Hmm.
Sebastian Stan will be playing Harvey Dent, and
Oh, that's gonna be
um,
so
you know,
good.
we haven't seen Gilda Dent in a movie. I don't really know much about her character in the comics, but
Mhm.
Scarlett Johansson is always good. So I think she apparently has a role that she can play that will be fresh. Um, and honestly, we haven't seen Two Face Harvey Dent since Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. So I think that's plenty of time. It's been 15 years. Um, let's see a new take on Two Face. What is your takeaway from the casting news?
I'm excited. I was particularly surprised to see Charles Dance playing in a superhero movie. I think that's going to be pretty exciting. I have not actually seen the Batman yet. I was told by my friend, I sat next to him at like a wedding rehearsal dinner and he like talked my ear off about the Batman. He was like, "You need to watch the Batman." So it's on my list. I was actually thinking about watching it this weekend. I guess I need to watch the Penguin now to get hype about Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I've heard really good things. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm probably gonna go see it.
Yeah, I have seen the Batman, have not seen the Penguin. Colin Farrell is always cool. The Penguin is apparently great. I need to watch it as well. Just not as much of a show guy. I have to like really get it. I'm way behind on shows. Um, Colin Farrell did say he's not going to be in the Batman Part 2 as much as he was in the
Okay,
Batman. So it's not like I don't think Penguin's going to
more
be
of a
the main
cameo
guy.
role.
He didn't, I think it's also interesting Matt Reeves did not say anything about Barry Keoghan, who was teased at the end of the Batman as Joker.
Really? Barry Keoghan was teased as Joker? I, like,
Yes.
missed that. Okay.
That is, I mean, it's, spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. It's just
The
um,
movie's been out a few years.
as they go in Arkham Asylum, they show Barry Keoghan as Joker. So there's plans for that. You would think at some point, or maybe it was a one-off riff, but you don't put that in as Barry Keoghan for a riff. So that will show up at some
Right.
point. But if that's
Could
in the
be
Batman
3rd
Part 2,
movie.
he's really hiding his cards. Yeah, I think they'll probably focus and maybe Keoghan will show up again, but they're keeping it
Mm.
close to the vest and setting him up for a third movie. Um, yeah, I'm excited for the Batman Part 2. I enjoyed the moodiness of it. As time passed on, the Batman got lower and lower down my list of movies of that year. It didn't stick with me as much.
Mhm.
But the aesthetics of the movie are great, and I'm interested. Pattinson is I've come around as a Pattinson fan. I know Screenage Wasteland is a bunch of Pattinson heads. He was great in the drama. He's a really talented voice actor,
Mhm.
and excited to see what he brings to it next. Um, our last story of the day is about Warner Brothers' recent recommitment to theatrical animation, and I will pull up a story from Cartoon Brew. So, Warner Brothers Pictures animation bosses recommit to theatrical animation distribution by Carlos Aguilar. Um, okay, so apparently there was an event at open house at Warner Brothers the other night, and Pam Abdi, who is like co CEO of Warner Brothers, or um, summarized the studio's new mission as a commitment to bold, modern animated films designed for global theatrical audiences. She said, "Our slate is intentionally balanced with reimagined, beloved properties through a contemporary lens, while also investing in original storytelling that feels distinctive. Um, Not to chase a single tone or look, but to create a diverse slate of animated films that connect across generations, stories that are entertaining for families, sophisticated enough for adults, and memorable enough to endure." I'm not going to go too far into the rest of that, but I will say something. I think that sounds great. I do love the sophisticated enough for adults. I love any commitment to theatrical for animation, especially after Paramount absolutely screwed over The Legend of Aang. I will
Mm.
take that. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is they're starting this great slate out with the Cat in the Hat adaptation that looks kind of terrible to me. Um,
Yeah, I'm more excited about some of the other stuff that they said they were prepping kind of in the future. Sounds a lot more exciting. But yeah, the Cat in the Hat looks bad. I'm sorry to say.
but I do, and that falls under the reimagined classics with a contemporary spin. If that's what we're
Mhm.
getting, as I don't know, and then that kind of belies the point about sophisticated enough for adults. Is the Cat in the Hat going to be sophisticated enough for adults? I'm not really
Yeah.
sure that it is. We haven't seen the movie. Maybe it's better than it appears, but I'm fine also with them mixing in some cash grab stuff if it helps get original great animation through.
Mhm.
No animation studio is really beyond that. Even Pixar now puts out a little bit of clunkers to get the cash running and then get some originals out. That's okay. Um, but I would really like them to focus on if they're going to reimagine classics, then maybe this style can hit the road. I don't know why they're
Yeah.
copying Illumination style at any point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited. They mentioned an original film that's in the works with a smaller studio out of New Orleans. That's called Bad Fairies, which sounds like it's going to be kind of like a really non-traditional art style. So that's kind of exciting just to see them already kind of working on a new IP and something distinct looking. They don't honestly share the concept art, unfortunately, in this article. But then they're also looking to adapt existing IP. It looks like they're working with Japan and Sanrio for Hello Kitty. Dr. Seuss are the places you'll go, as well as a new Tom and Jerry film and maybe some Meet the Flintstones as well. They have listed. So they have a lot of projects in development, which is really great for the animation industry in like Burbank and LA, which is I insider knowledge know it's not been great there. So hopefully some really talented artists and writers get work and produce some amazing cinema.
Well, my hope and dream would be that this year could be a banner year for animation where the
Yeah.
combination of Wildwood and Ray Gun and Forgotten Island, and The Legend of Aang, if Paramount will give it at least a theatrical qualifying release,
Yeah, even a
um,
small release would be
for
appreciated.
and particularly Ray Gun and Legend of Aang, and even to
Yeah,
some degree Wildwood, like animation can be for adults, but you've got to create products that adults can watch. One of the reasons we're kind of in
yeah,
a cart before a horse cycle where the movie going public thinks they see animated and they go, "Oh, kids," or "Oh, family." Um, but
Yeah.
that's, how do you change that without saying, "Hey, here's an animated film and it's really cool and it's not really for family." It's like, I mean, even if it's something like a Marvel movie, right, where it's
Mhm.
PG-13 and technically you can have family there, kids can enjoy it, but it's not really kid, focused. Like Iron Man wasn't kid focused. Iron Man is captured by terrorists and tortured and then kills a bunch of terrorists. It's not like a family, like it wasn't like fart jokes in Iron
Yeah.
Man. So like
Yeah.
we need to push the envelope on that, I think.
Yeah, and I think when there have been adult animated movies, I think most recently, a few years ago, the Bob's Burgers movie, which had a theatrical release, it was sort of just set out to die. There wasn't much advertisement, even though Bob's Burgers is a wildly popular series. And the movie was like, it wasn't inappropriate for kids, but it wasn't really a family movie. It was more of an adult film. And it didn't really do very well at box office. And I think that unfortunately, because of things like that, they kind of send stuff out to die. Nobody goes to see it, and then they're like, "See, this is why we don't market animated films." And it's sort of like a self fulfilling prophecy.
Right. And I think, I will say Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca at Warner Brothers did an amazing job last year, with their live action slate in particular, although that includes Minecraft. I didn't see Minecraft. I know it's apparently
Hmm.
better than it looked, but it's still very much, I mean, chicken jockey, immature. And you can get, if it makes you a bunch of money, I guess that's okay. But,
Yeah.
I would still like to see Warner Brothers continue to. I'm glad that they're doing a diverse style that they're Sony's got their style going really well for them right now. Of course, Pixar has the pedigree. DreamWorks is putting out some good stuff. They're getting into some of
Hmm.
their stuff. Illumination sucks, and there's no reason for any other studio to copy Illumination's style. When you see
Absolutely.
Illumination's style, you think, "Wow, that looks bland and boring and awful." And that looks like
Yeah.
they're making a Instacart commercial.
Yeah. I'm talking to
So
you, Angel Studios. Don't copy Illumination style.
no, Angel Studios is also Angel Studios is in a very weird place. Apparently, they're going to distribute Terrence Malick's The Way of the Wind.
What?
Breaking
That should be
news.
at the top bill of this episode. What the hell? Wave when is coming out?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what the plans are. I just apparently Angel Studios is in the talks to be the
Oh my
distributor,
god.
which is,
Did you tell
I mean,
Raph?
in a sense of it's a Jesus movie, I guess that makes, but it's also
Yeah,
very
yeah, it
strange.
is.
It's also very strange. It
It is
doesn't
very
feel like
strange.
their kind of art. So, but maybe Angel Studios has different ideas and plans than we understand.
Yeah, I
We're
mean, I was sort of making a joke. Like when they grabbed Animal Farm, it was already done. Like they had no real part of the production. They just grabbed the distribution rights. But like, um, they do seem to have like more of an open-minded perspective than maybe other like Christian religious studios in terms of the kind of media they're willing to distribute. Like it doesn't have to follow like a specific Christian ideology. So it might
yeah.
be that this is
Well,
kind of out of left field, but they still are fine with that. So that's
they picked
interesting.
up Sketch, which is like a live action, but with some animated like ideas. Did you ever hear about that Sketch
Yeah,
movie
I heard
that
about
came
that.
out?
Yeah.
And like respected critics liked it. We're just talking about like randoms. I mean, like
Yeah.
real critics were like, "This was a great movie." Um, so I mean, and I never like thought about it, but they just picked it up. They weren't making it, so they're in a strange place in the market. But anyway, we
Yeah.
we were talking about Warner Brothers Animation. Uh, One of the keys too is Warner Brothers very notably axed Coyote versus Acme. They threw away Looney Tunes. So
Yeah.
the recommitment comes at a time when they were kind of like getting a side eye about what they were doing because they also chopped stuff off their streaming platform like Infinity Train, a beloved animated
Mm,
show that is gone. You can't get it anywhere without
yeah.
pirating it. Um, so yeah, they were getting the side eye, but hey, I would never complain when a studio commits to anything theatrical. So way to go, Warner
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see some more good animated films. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that is a wrap on the Wasteland Wrap for the week. We had a quick episode. My battery is dying. Val has to go quickly. Also, a review will be coming out soon for Obsession. Go see it. It
Woohoo!
is absolutely wild and probably going to be the best horror movie of this year, unless we get another
Oh,
contender step up to the
no,
plate.
Hokum's not gonna be the best.
We have a couple of contenders. We have Werewolf. We have Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. We have Resident
Oh,
Evil from Zach Kreger. A battle of the YouTube influencers. You know, Obsession was made by YouTube influencer Curry
yeah,
Barker. Shout out to Curry Barker. He's from Alabama, so I want to get that in there.
the
But
dogs are
it is
going
time.
crazy.
It is time to go. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We will catch you next week on the wrap.
All right.